Most of these are weeds, so I'm not too worried about pulling them out. The trees are natives. They were probably planted here, and what I've done a couple of days ago, I came in and cleared this area here, which I'll set up my tent over there in that corner. It'll take up about 3/4 of it. It's a very small space. I don't know if you can see those spots down there. The Bureau of Meteorology was saying there was 0 chance of showers this evening, 60% chance tomorrow morning, but you can see, well, by the spots and the colour of the sky, nice grey, that the chances have increased slightly above 0. Actually, I can feel water on my face now. I better get this tent finished. Hi, welcome back to the channel. As you can see, I'm on another overnighter. I've squared away the tent now, just in time. When I started it, there was a bit of drizzling just as I sort of started to unpack the tent. I was a bit scared it'd start pouring while I was setting up. It held off just long enough. I've squared away the tent. I'm inside it now. I've set up the sleeping mat, unrolled the sleeping bag, inflated the pillow and so forth. It's autumn in Australia, and it's about April 20th or thereabouts. Even now, a lot of mosquitoes around. In this woodland, there'll be mosquitoes all year round, so I've brought some insect repellent. I've applied it liberally. I'm in a triangular block of land. There's behind me, about 150 metres behind me, there's sports grounds for a school. And on the other two sides of the triangle, in front to my right is a main road, and in front to my left is a main road. Where they join, there's a bit of a shopping centre and petrol station and so forth. So it's urban camping. You just have to make do with what's available. There's a lot of traffic noise here. It's getting towards afternoon peak hour. Hopefully it'll fine up a little bit later on. I think it's stopped raining again. I might get out of the tent now that I'm covered in insect repellent and see what it's like. So we're looking west, and there's a main road through there. There seems to have been a bit of a path, maybe even a road through here at some stage. You can see it through. The other side is a bit less treed than the surrounding area, so I'd say this was a path or an access point at some stage. It's overgrown. This is where I've set the tent up. There's not much room here, so I can't really show you a lot. It's a tent. It blends in pretty well. It's been a long, hot, wet summer. There's a lot of undergrowth around. You might be able to see behind me. There's a lot of weeds. Everything that's not a tree is a weed. And you can probably see from the footage I got on the way in, if it turned out that the track's really overgrown, which will mean we won't be disturbed here. The council does the mowing using tractors, big heavy tractors, and with all the rain, the ground is really muddy, so they haven't been able to get in here. And while it's bad for the dog walkers, it's good for me. On the negative side, during the it warmed up very quickly in spring, and the snakes came out in numbers. And with this growth and the warmth, there's been quite a lot of snakes around. I've been a bit scared to come down here. I thought about camping in late winter when it was a bit cooler last year, but we had a long dry period from Christmas right through till October, really. And there was just nowhere I could find that was out of sight of any paths, so I didn't really do any camping in winter. See that it's very thickly wooded in here. I've got a 2-man tent that I'm using. I find it a lot more comfortable as an older camper. I used to use trekking pole tents, but I'm beginning to find it a bit difficult to get in and out of the damn things. They don't have a lot of room. I'm thinking seriously of getting a one-person dome tent though, something that's about 100 millimeters across, wide enough to be comfortable in, but without too much of a footprint, because where I camp, it's always like this when I'm camping, and it's just very hard to find a clear patch. I've had to do a lot of clearing. You can see here the mountain of of dead leaves and weeds and so forth that I've pulled out to create a spot here. It's big enough for me, but it took a lot of, it really took a lot of work to do. It's not a bad spot. Maybe over the top of the traffic, you can hear the birds around here. Well, while there's not much else happening, I'll show you my kit. There's not a lot of room in this tent. See, it's the normal stuff for me. I've got a reflective mat. It's actually got little poppers on it, so it's a bit cushioned. I scored that from, I don't know, eBay. Something that my wife ordered came wrapped in that to protect it. There's a self-inflating mat there that's like 15 or 20 years old. There's a climate sleeping pad there, a Nature Hike summer sleeping bag, Nature Hike cheap pillow, I've got a cheap torch, headlamp, another lamp here, oops, another lamp there hanging up. What else? So I'm going to have some dehydrated spag bolognese. In the corner I've got a bag of bags, coffee, bit of a first aid kit. I've got a sleeping bag liner there. It's predicted to only get down to 18. I won't need that tonight, but seems to have. The fact is, I just left it in my backpack by mistake. But anyway, it's here now. I've got a tablet to listen to an audio book. Down here, there's my backpack. A pair of shorts I'll change into before I go to bed. Some shorts there. My hat. Insect repellent, which is one of the more important things to bring with you to places like this just about all year round. It seems to be leaking. Just put it up right outside. And that's about it for my inside of the tent. That's my kit. Well, I don't know if you can see that, but the sky is almost blue now after that rain that we had just after I set up. It was a bit of a scare, but it's completely blue at this moment. While this woodland looks pretty scrappy and it's certainly overgrown by weeds, there's still a lot of bird life here. It's quite enjoyable being here. Now, sure, there's a lot of background noise from the traffic, but the bird life in this little pocket of land is quite amazing. So there's not much else happening here. What I might do is just go for a little walk around the campsite and show you around a little bit. See that the undergrowth is very thick. There's some lantana flowers up ahead. So there's a lot of lantana in there. This will be impenetrable in a few years' time. There's a lot of cobbler's pegs. All of that, all the undergrowth is weeds. I don't really feel guilty about clearing the undergrowth to make a campsite. See, there's a young wattle coming up here. It's a good sign. Hopefully there's no snakes lurking about. Shouldn't be this time of day. It's a little bit cooler now. Still plenty of mozzies around, but I'm well doused in insect repellent. It's a bit of a clearing here. I might be able to use it at some stage in the future when it starts to thin out again. I'm heading towards the east. Now about 150, 200 metres that way is a sports field. So I've just come from over there. You can just see the tent through the bushes there. pretty much the middle of the screen, and beyond that is the sun. There's a clearing. So this spot here is a little bit further away from the clearing out the front. So I'll just keep heading towards the sports fields for a little bit. See, it's very thickly weeded. And just over there, middle of the screen, behind that bent over she oak, is another track I've got to be wary of, but nothing to worry about tonight. The main problem with camping down here is the dog walkers. I suppose they're a problem for wild campers the world over, but the people around here tend to have real brutes of dogs, and they let them off the leash because they don't expect there to be anyone around down here. I've been down here with my son just on a Sunday explore last winter when it had been dry and they'd had plenty of opportunity to cut the grass and make the tracks more accessible, and a couple of times we came across rather large, unfriendly looking dogs, unattended. Suddenly the owners would appear around the corner of a track, but yeah, a few scares. So that's something that's one of the problems of this area, but really I think that it's just not likely to happen today. It's just too inaccessible. Anyway, maybe from the last shot, if it turned out, you can see the sun's getting really low. I'm going to start boiling the water now. I know I'm going to lose the sun very quickly, so I might get dinner out of the way early while I've still got some light. Well, that's it. I've got a boil on. Okay, that's been about 20 minutes. It's really thickened up. It looked disgusting before. It's a little bit watery still. I might. Yeah, well, I stirred it through a bit and then waited another few minutes, and it seems to have thickened up quite well. It's really not the ideal way to eat this stuff. Anyway, I'm going to turn the camera off. You don't want to see me eating spaghetti out of a bag. I'll bring you back in a little while. So I've just finished dinner. I've put the bag and a few leftovers and a couple of muesli bar wrappers in this plastic bag behind me. Where is it? In there, right there in the tree. There. You can't see my finger, so in the corner of the screen is a plastic bag. It's got the wrapper, the dehydrated meal came in. It's got a couple of other wrappers for muesli bars. I just don't want it smelling the inside of the tent up overnight. I'm not really scared of bears and that we don't have that problem here. There might be some possums, but I don't think they'll go for that. And I'll pick that up on the way out tomorrow. That's pretty much it for me. I'll be going to the tent shortly. It's a little before 9 o'clock. I've been listening to an audio book for about an hour and a half. It's starting to get on now. I'll be going to bed very shortly. There's a full moon tonight. I haven't been able to do any photography, but there's a few clouds around, so it's quite dark at the moment outside. But when the clouds pass, it's suddenly very bright. There's also at the back somewhere there's a very angry possum. I suppose I'm in his territory. He's been making a fair bit of noise to let me know that he's not happy that I'm here. Anyway, I'm going to sign off for a while now. I'll probably bring you back in the morning or a little bit sooner if something else happens. Anyway, bye for now. Anyway, there's been showers since about midnight, 11:45. I think the first one came through. It was fairly light. As the evening has progressed and the showers have come through, they've been heavier. This last one's been quite strong and quite long. Anyway, I'm going to go back to bed for a while. It's only 4:15. I might I'll bring you back when I really wake up. What a difference a day makes. It's still drizzling, although there's a few patches of blue above us. I don't think the camera will pick them out, but there's a few patches of blue up there. You can see the coffee's on. I've cleaned away a fair bit in the tent. Put clothes that I wore last night, sleeping bag and air mat and so forth, been packed away. So I'm just looking forward to having a coffee now. It's pretty close to a boil. I think that's good enough. Well, everything looks better with the coffee. I had a pretty good sleep last night. I woke up a couple of times just before midnight. I woke up, and shortly after I woke up, it started to rain. It was just a quick shower. I was woken up by the noise of a motorcycle on the road over there. I sleep very anxious when I'm wild camping. Sort of have one ear open, listening to things going on around me. In the silence of the night, the road seems a lot closer, and there must have been a guy with a motorcycle with a non-standard muffler revving it out and racing along the road over here. And I woke up thinking that there was an animal growling behind the tent. You can see what state I was in. Anyway, it took me a while to go back to sleep, and the rain helped, because the rain drowns out the noises of the woods. There were possums in the trees above me. Sure, I could hear something climbing through the trees, and I could hear probably cane toads. They sound like footfalls when they hop and they land. There's a thud, and I thought they were footfalls. And anyway, the showers that came across helped me to go back to sleep. And then I had a nightmare that I dreamed that there was some guys out on a night hike. I don't know how many, 10 or 15 or something, and they came through behind me and along the side here. And there was torches on the tent, and I'd been discovered. And then I woke up at about 3:15, 3:30, I don't know. It was raining again, and I realised that it had just been a dream. And it's been raining pretty much on and off, mainly on since 3:30, and it's been really good. I managed to get back to sleep a couple of times and wake up as I roll over. Everything seems a lot better in the light of day and with a coffee in hand. So overall it was quite enjoyable. I'm glad I came out. I've had a couple of false starts in the past where I've packed my bag, and I planned to come down here or go somewhere else, and I've just pulled out at the last moment, being a bit anxious. But I just thought, well, if I get here, I set the tent up, I'll see how I feel, and I'll go from there. Once I'm here, once I've found somewhere to camp, I'm fine. You can see that there are still a lot of mosquitoes around. I've put on rid again. I've changed back into my long trousers, and the clothes I wore in yesterday, they're a bit mouldy, a bit damp from the walk in. I've packed most of the tent away now, or I packed most of the stuff in the tent away, more correctly. So all that's really left to do is to have a coffee and a muesli bar, and then I might call it quits. But I'll bring you back in a while when I finish. See, I've packed my bag, and that is where I stayed last night. I'll try and get a bit further away from it so you can get a bit of a better look. So I've scattered some leaves over top. It doesn't look exactly the same as the bushland around it. There's no weeds growing up there. They'll come back. If we have a wet winter, they'll continue to grow. If not, then maybe back in spring or summer. But anyway, I intend to use this spot a couple more times, so I'm quite happy with the way it looks. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off now. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you've gotten this far, thanks for watching. I've really enjoyed this camp. I might catch you on another one. Bye for now.